Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're looking at An Immense World: How Animal Senses Reveal the Hidden Realms Around Us by Ed Yong. This book came out just this year. Ed Yong is a science journalist. He won the Pulitzer Prize for his writing on the COVID 19 pandemic, and he also wrote another really awesome book about microbes called I Contain Multitudes. This book is exactly what the title says. Through many, many different animals, Ed Yong shows us how reality is experienced differently depending on what sense organs you're equipped with and what neurological means of interpreting the stimuli you have. This book is about the Umwelt. The Umwelt is how you experience the world as dictated by your sense organs and your brain. This book is about the subjectivity of the Umwelt. If my Umwelt is different from that of another creature, what does that say about our experiences? Is my perception something of an illusion? As Ed Yong states, the act of sensing creates an illusion that ironically makes it harder to appreciate how the senses work. This book explores questions like what is red or what is sound? If I asked you what is sound, how would you answer that? Maybe you'd say it's what your brain perceives from the interpretation of pressure waves through a medium, what your brain perceives. If I asked you what a high pitched voice sounds like, you could hear it in your mind's ear. You'd have an idea of what that means to you. But what if I asked a dog or a bat or an earthworm? Of course, they wouldn't answer me, but you understand what I mean. Many aspects of nature are kind of counterintuitive, aren't they? Everyone once thought that red was just red, simple, but now we can say that certain objects either absorb or reflect different wavelengths of light, and we interpret that as colors depending on the configuration of photoreceptors we have. Things get really interesting in this book when we start to explore senses that humans don't have. What would it be like to use a magnetic field to guide yourself, or to be able to detect the subtle electrical fields that animals emit? What would that feel like? A lot of these animal senses might be like different versions of the ones we're familiar with, such as feeling an electrical field or seeing echolocation. This book succeeds in helping us to empathize with other occupants of this planet, and when we're able to do this, it really helps to illustrate that their experience means something too. The number of examples Ed gives in this book is huge. This is a pretty big book. The amount of research and interviews he put into this is pretty impressive. There are 11 chapters that are each about a different way of sensing the world: heat, pain, sound, vibration. Then there are two more chapters after that. He also talks a lot about the nature of the relationship between the sense organs and their environments in an evolution context, how things can select for each other, like how flowers evolved ultraviolet colors to suit the eyesight of bees. There's also 32 really awesome looking color photos and a 44-page bibliography, a 17-page index, and 24 pages of endnotes. I think this book is something just about anyone can appreciate. You know, we're so used to perceiving the world through our human senses that it's easy to just think that what we perceive is the truth of reality. But this book helps to illustrate that that's only our truth, or your truth. Aldous Huxley speaks of the reducing valve in the brain that filters out all the noise of the universe. Without the reducing valve, we couldn't function or focus on survival if we were to experience the world as it truly, objectively is. And this gives us our own personal Umwelt. I was hoping this book was going to say more about the exponential increase in richness of experience we get when our brain is able to use multiple reference frames. You know, like how a second eye does more than just improve sight. It gives us depth perception and allows us to more precisely triangulate our position in space. Or how the difference between a state from one moment to the next allows our brain to add another dimension to the picture. They do discuss this a little bit, but I wanted some more of that. I wanted to hear about what sorts of things could be possible with more or better sense organs. And then there's a 13th chapter about how human activities have created a huge amount of light and sound pollution and how that really interferes with a lot of animal life. I think this is pretty important, but it felt pretty out of place being stuck on the end of the book in that way. He could probably write another book on that topic, but it felt like a weird choice to include it in this one. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. If you're interested in animals or questions about the subjectivity of experience, you might really like this book. I think that this is the kind of book that would make a really good gift too for young people or older people. Well, I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching, and yeah, for sure, go get An Immense World by Ed Yong.